Hey everyone, this is Peter Estes of ValleyCAD, and it's another Just a Thought Thursdays. In today's video, what I'm going to show you are two tools, the Instant 2D and the Instant 3D commands. So let's hop on over to SOLIDWORKS and see how do we utilize this. So looking at my SOLIDWORKS screen, you'll see that I got this shower head on here. And this shower head is actually an item that I co-designed with the company High Sierra Shower Heads. High Sierra Shower Heads has actually been our longest client. We've been working with them since 2014, and we here at ValleyCAD absolutely love doing designs with High Sierra Shower Heads. And actually this last year, Popular Science did a comparison test with High Sierra Shower Heads and other showerhead manufacturers, and for the low flow showerhead units, High Sierra Showerheads actually won the best product. And I actually got a tech blog on the ValleyCAD website talking about that. So if you hop on over to the ValleyCAD website, it's www.valleycad.com, and then go to our blog page, you'll see that I got High Sierra Showerheads post on that. And so you can actually come on over to this post, and you'll see here on this click that you can go to the Popular Science article to see how they compared us to that. And also, if you want to look at more of High Sierra Showerheads and the other products that they have to offer, hop on over to this other link and you can see their website. And also they sell all their products on Amazon as well. So if you want a low flow showerhead that does not feel like a low flow showerhead and feels like a real showerhead, you'll want to go with High Sierra Showerheads on that. And so they are a phenomenal product once again, and a great company to work with. The owner does a phenomenal job, and he knows how to work with water. So highly recommend, go check them out. Great company, great product. All right, so let's hop on back over to SOLIDWORKS. So as we are looking at this model, I wanted to introduce to you Instant 3D and Instant 2D. And so Instant 3D and 2D, it's a great tool to utilize when you are doing conceptual designs. Okay, and if you want to do designs that don't really, like, dimensions just don't really matter too much, it's more of how does this thing look and flow. Okay, and so I like to use it whenever I'm doing preliminary or conceptual designs when I'm first showing off a product to a client. So let's use High Sierra Shower Heads for example here. As I stated, we helped co-design this shower head for them, and let's look at this first piece here. This it's the nozzle part of it. So let's go ahead and open up this part, and on here I'm gonna actually activate Instant 3D. Now where's this located? Well, what you want to do is come over here to your Features tab, and under Features you'll see towards the middle of your screen Instant 3D. And so what does it do? Well, as you see in the tooltip there, it says Instant 3D, enable dragging of handles, dimensions, and sketches to dynamically modify features. Okay, so what do they mean by dynamically modify? Well, what that does here is if I have this enabled, and let's say I double click on this body here, these are the dimensions that were needed to make the revolve feature of this body. You'll see here on the end of my 1 1/8 dimension that I have this blue dot on the end. What I can do with this is actually click and start dragging it out. Now, as I was stating, when you're doing this drag function, it's just wherever you send it out and let go is the dimension that's going to show up. It's a dynamic change. And so looking at this by that little drag and drop that I did there, that dimension ended up being 1.8834. It's not a very friendly dimension if you send it off to a standard machine shop, right? And so a lot of engineers that utilize SOLIDWORKS, they might not use this too often. But here's another aspect to look at. With that drag function, let's say you don't want it to just, kind of go wherever I let go. If you notice to the right of my cursor right now that there's this ruler that showed up. And what this ruler actually allows me to do is it allows me to snap every 1/10 of an inch. Okay, so I can actually control that. And it actually looks like every 500th of an inch on there. Okay, so maybe I want to say, all right, I want this to be actually at, whoop, too far. I want this to be at 1 1/4. So I'll drag it to that location and let go. So it snapped it to that full dimension of 1 1/4. Pretty cool, right? Now, if I had Instant 3D turned off, here's how it would look for me to change this dimension. I would have to click on it and double click on it actually and change that to whatever size I want. Let's say 1.375. So I increase it by 1/8 of an inch. Push Control Q from that so I can do my rebuild. And now it's updated. Now it's a little bit rounder and so forth. So because SOLIDWORKS is fully associative, I can now hop back to my assembly file and we'll see that the size grew. It grew to 1 3/8. And so maybe as you're working with an industrial designer or a client and they go, I don't really care about dimension-wise, I just care how it looks. So that's where you could use the Instant 3D and dynamically change the size of your part. Really cool tool to use, okay? So I like having Instant 3D turned on all the time. It's really helpful because also with it turned on, I can come in here, double click, simply click on a dimension, and it automatically brings up this little cell for me to change the size of it. I could just simply type in 1.25 and it updates it for me automatically. Notice I didn't have to push Control Q or anything like that. It automatically rebuilt it, okay? Let's hop on over to a sketch and let's look at how Instant 2D works now. So pushing Control Tab twice to go into this part file that I pre-started, and I am in a sketch. Now, how do I know I am in a sketch right now? Well, here are your signs that say you are in a sketch. The most common one that I always tell my students to look at is look in the top right corner. This top right corner is called your confirmation corner. And so this confirmation corner shows my sketch icon and also a discard icon. This is saying, hey, I want to accept this sketch, or nope, I want to discard it. The other way that I know is across the top of my SOLIDWORKS window. It says sketch 1 of part 3. So it's saying, hey, you are in a sketch of your part file, which is currently called part 3, because I have not saved this part yet. And then also, if you look in your graphics area, you'll see where my origin is. My origin's in the bottom right corner of this rectangle, and it's red. Whenever you're in a sketch, your origin is always red. If you are not in a sketch, your origin turns blue. And then the final way to know that you are in a sketch is actually in the bottom right corner of your SOLIDWORKS window, and it's called your status bar. And what your status bar is telling you right now is that, or me, is that my sketch is fully defined and that I'm editing sketch 1. Okay, so those are the 4 ways to realize that you are in a sketch. SOLIDWORKS is so good at just screaming at you saying, hey, you are in a sketch right now, or you're doing this function right now. So I would just be aware of your surroundings to know what feature you're doing. Okay, so looking at Instant 2D, where is this located? Well, it's actually located under your Sketch tab. And you'll see on mine, it's already indented, meaning that it's enabled. So if I click on my 3-inch dimension there, you'll see that I have a blue dot on each end this time. Now, let's say I want to have this grow to 3 1/4. So I could simply take it, drag it out to where I want it to go, and say, all right, I want it to be 3 1/4. Okay, so now I can drag it to that given size. So it's a little bit hard to do because you have to snap it to each of those little ticks. So if you have it a little bit lower, it'll snap to every 5th or every 500th. And if you have it up higher, it'll snap to every 10th. Okay, so let's make it so we're going down to 3.25 and let go. Update it just like that for me. Really cool. Now, let's say I had 2 blue grab dots, right? Let's see if I could grab and drag the right one. Looks like it's not really doing that. Why is that though? Well, the reason why is because this sketch is currently fully defined. How is it fully defined and where I can't drag it off to the right? Well, it's because my line here is actually coincident to this bottom line, which are both coincident to my origin. So it's technically locked to the origin. So since I already applied that rule, SOLIDWORKS will not allow me to change this. The only way I could change it is I have to get rid of that coincident, then I could drag off to the right as I see fit. Okay, so that's where Instant 2D can come in. So the other thing with Instant 2D though is that if you just simply click on a dimension, it's going to go into edit dimension mode. but it doesn't bring up your modify box. It just brings up that little cell again. Now, I've seen it before where a lot of people got upset with this little function. Instant 2D was actually introduced in SOLIDWORKS 2016, and a lot of people had a lot of questions about it, going, man, what had happened to my modify box? What's this modify box I'm talking about? Well, when you double click on a dimension, you get this little box, and it says modify on it. That's your modify box. And so you could come in here and change whatever dimension you want, right? So when you have Instant 2D on, if you just simply click on the text of your dimension, it just brings up a little cell. And so if you start typing in here, it's not a problem. It's just like with Instant 3D. So I'll just simply click and push enter, automatically, dynamically updates the dimension for me. Really cool. So that's where that's really useful, but where it can be a problem is this. Let's say I want to get rid of that dimension. And my habit is always to come in and click on the text of that dimension. It's easier to click on, so I always click on it. Now, if I came in here and I push delete and then click off my screen, SOLIDWORKS is going to go, hey, you need to enter in a number. I was like, hang on a minute. I'm trying to delete this dimension. I don't care about a number anymore. Well, as I was stating, if you selected the text of a dimension, SOLIDWORKS thinks that you're just editing the text length of it. And so if you're saying, I want this to now be 2 inches, well, if you delete all the text, SOLIDWORKS is saying, I don't know what my measurement is here. And SOLIDWORKS says that it can only be within these 2 ranges of numbers. So SOLIDWORKS is saying to you, you can't just delete that. So how do you delete a dimension? Well, you have to click on the line or the leaders of your dimension to be able to delete it. Okay, so there are some perks to having Instant 2D and 3D. It takes a little bit of getting used to of having different click styles. I like having Instant 3D turned on. I have it on probably about 90% of the time. I'm still developing my habit of keeping Instant 2D on. So how have you used it? I hope this clears up that little question of, man, every time I click on a dimension, all of a sudden this little cell comes up. I want to see my modify box. Now, why do people want to see the modify box so much? The reason why is this. You can come in and you can treat it like an equation, such as like 2 plus 1.375. SOLIDWORKS will come in and say, oh, that's 3.375. So that's why the modify box is such a useful tool, and a lot of people like using that. So Instant 2D and 3D, I like using them, but let's see. Some people just couldn't get used to them all the time. So as I was saying there, I wanted to show you guys Instant 2D and Instant 3D. I think it's a pretty useful tool. Leave us a comment. Is this a tool that you use? Is this something that you just turn off all the time? How do you use Instant 2D and 3D? Have you seen it be more of an issue than a helper? So let us know. Also, like and subscribe to our ValleyCAD channel on YouTube. Trying to post 2 videos a week. The first one's every Tuesday. It's called Tech Tip Tuesdays. The second one is Just a Thought Thursdays. So like and subscribe to the ValleyCAD channel on YouTube, and you can be notified every time we post a video. Also, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. So if you hop on any of those streaming services and type in @ValleyCAD, you'll find us, okay? Also, highly encourage you, hop on over to our website, www.valleycad.com. On there, you can see all the services we provide. We are a mechanical engineering and product design firm, but also we offer SOLIDWORKS training, SOLIDWORKS implementation, reverse engineering. We do 3D scanning with our reverse engineering. We also do 3D printing, and we also do CNC carving. We have a CNC tabletop 3D carver. So we have a lot of services that we could provide to you and your company. So once again, highly encourage you, hop on over to our website, see what we can do for you. Other than that, my name is Peter Estes. I'm the owner of ValleyCAD. Have a great rest of the day, and make sure you learn something new. See ya.